Thanks for joining us today. So today, what I'm doing is I'm showing you Mortal Kombat X and why I like it. Now, I know this game came out in 2015, and we've seen a lot of walkthroughs and story details, and it was briefly on the competitive scene. I even played it in a few lounges and stuff. And despite the release of Mortal Kombat 11 in 2019 and Mortal Kombat 1 in 2023, which has great graphics and gameplay but have mixed reviews on the content, I wanted to run through with you why I like Mortal Kombat X and why I think it's still aged pretty well. And as we see here, it has various game modes. So I've started with the story because I used to play this game pretty well from 2015 to 2018, and I haven't played it much since. But so the story mode is quite common in most of these games, but this one, even like the older Injustice ones, had quick time events. So I'm just trying to show you a chapter with one of my favorite characters, Jax, and the quick time events as well as how fast the fight goes. I'll just quickly run through a couple of fights before I then get into and outline the structure of the video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a few fights here, and then I'm going to explain the different modes and demonstrate the living towers, and then after that I'll basically step into practice mode and explain the moves of some of my favorite characters. Now we have some cutscenes from the story here. The story in this game wasn't that particularly great, and don't really care much about it, but it's pretty much a story, and it continues MK9, and it's good enough to serve the purpose of the game. There was allegedly some prequel comic. I never gave a damn about that, but it's pretty interesting. And here we have one of my favorite characters, Jax. He's pretty OP in this game. So why I like this one was because of its speed and the way they made their move sets, albeit it wasn't typical MK. And the other thing was that with the living towers, which I'll shortly demonstrate after this, were much lesser grindy than MK9 and 11's challenge towers, and were way more fun with the modifiers, which I'll show you. And there's at one stage even an option to customize a two-player or one-player fight. Now, here we are in the story where he's confronting evil Liu Kang, and you see there's some quick time events. I missed the first one to see what impact it has, but it doesn't really change the story. So before you start fighting with this guy in some events in the story, like you've got to press certain keys to avoid something. Like in this case, there's a fireball. In some other cases, there could be some other kind of a knife fight or something. So now Jax has to defeat Revenant Liu Kang before he can, kind of this arrest or Quan Chi or whatever that is. So check this out, because I've been playing the retro MKs for a while. And I used to be good at this, but initially I was a bit stunned by the speed of this game. And there was a time in 2015 where I really liked it. Now I've got to get back to it because wow, it's pretty amazing. Because the thing is that, oh wow, that's his flying kick. Because I've been all over the place. I've been playing Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 on the PC for my channel, and I also was playing Ultimate MK3 in the arcade. And of late, I've also been revisiting MK4, and I did an unbeaten playthrough of that at the highest difficulty level in a live stream, by the way. So, not that it matters, but it matters personally to me because MK4 was the first ever MK I got into properly, and that's probably why I like MKX, because it's kind of what Mortal Kombat 4 should have been. So, and I know many of the traditional purists who like the original trilogy, which I also briefly played in school, and I'm starting to revisit and appreciate now, as you would have seen in my channel, given their cultural and significance and how advanced they were for their time. But most fans of the original trilogy don't really like MK4 and X. But me, despite now having taken to the original trilogy as retro games and a bit in their time, I still don't mind MK4 and MKX. And yeah, this is where it's going to get interesting. Sorry, there's a bit of blood there, but what I've done is I'm not showing you any of the brutalities and the fatalities. Even though I feel they still fit within YouTube's community guidelines, I'm going to go on the conservative side. But it is clear this is a video game and stuff, so there might be some minor blood, but this video has been marked as not for kids. So I assume you're not showing it to any under 13, but there's nothing contentious in it. There's none of the skimpy ladies of MK9. Oh wait, oh watch this. This is Scorpion. Whoa, whoa! I'm playing a Scorpion. This is amazing. His speed in Mortal Kombat X was amazing, incredibly brutal, and oh wow, it's actually even faster than this video in person. Whoa! And this was his ninjutsu variation, because this game introduced the variations concept, which was, of course, better refined in MK11 towards competitive play and customization. But some of these characters, like that, was incredibly amazing. That what Scorpion did. He was pretty fast, and it was funny when this game first came out because its mechanics were a bit different from Mortal Kombat 9. When I went to my friends' places who were playing on consoles and stuff, and some lounges which were allowed to play this game until they closed down for whatever reason, most people, and even the honest trailers of this game says it, everybody was pretty much playing Scorpion and online. So like, play this game online to for to face the challenge of facing Scorpion hundreds of times, so over and over again, which is true, because I guess that he's also in the training mode, and his move set is in most of these games is the most accessible to all players. But in this one, his ninjutsu is pretty deadly. Like, I'm playing this game after a few years, but you can. Mortal Kombat X is famous for its relatively long combos and hyper extendable special moves, which seem to be more out of Tekken or Street Fighter than Mortal Kombat for me. But it had an incredible place and some incredibly funny, like really extendable special moves, which weren't pure MK, but this was like amazing fun to like get together and play with friends, or like just come home and after a night at the pubs and play a test your luck match or something. And its story did add a bit to the franchise, and it didn't look too bad for its time. So, and lot of people still like the way it moves, so I really don't mind it. And here there is a character narrative where Scorpion is trying to get to Quan Chi, but the Earthrealmers want to, get him to resurrect some of their teammates who were lost in MK9 before he gets them. So it is a semi-interesting plot, but we're shortly going to see another quick time event, and this is that Johnny Cage. And in this game and 11, the older version of him, and I think this looks a bit funny, but this is exactly how you'd imagine a Cage kind of aging, like one of those typical like uncle types. He used to have an ego but is trying to tone down. But I kind of found it funny that that new character Cassie Cage was the protagonist in this game, and Johnny Cage, when Sonya was seen as an older mentor. Like, if you played the game still MK9, you would have never imagined he'd have this role. But he's a bit funny in this game as well, and he's got some great move sets, and his IJ combo is pretty good in this game as well, and he's got some breakers. And there's me, I guess, playing this game after a few years, just use Scorpion to and yeah, that was another good thing about this game. And from this game onwards, once you had completed the story, you saw I selected, I could choose specific chapters in the story which I wanted to demo, which was much better than MK9, where you had to play the whole thing again. Okay, I think I let him win a round or something before I actually bash him up, and I'm not going to do the X-ray move or fatal blow or crashing blow or body blow or whatever that's called, because I'm not comfortable showing that on YouTube. So but it is a bit better in Mortal Kombat X. Unlike Mortal Kombat 9, where the screen blacks out, you do see some bone crunching here with the fatal move, but it still goes on at normal speed. And oh, actually, wait, I did end up doing one, unfortunately. But yeah, I think I'll cut it out by the time I publish this video. So yeah, that should be all right. Yeah, so I did cut it out by the time I published the video, so that's okay. Yeah, I think I needed to do that to win, so that's pretty all right. And yeah, this game still moves well. I'm using an Acer Predator Helios Neo, which is like a model from mid 2023. It's a gaming laptop, a big 15.6-inch screen, not that big, and it's got 6 GB graphics with a RTX T6 1660 Ti and 16 GB RAM and a 7th generation i7. And you can normally play Mortal Kombat 1 from 2023, late 23, on this with ease in the ultra settings. And other games you can even multitask, like this one. And when I play Batman Arkham Knight, which still looks good, I keep tons of other things open in the background. But to be fair, Mortal Kombat 9, its input didn't age very well on this laptop, or maybe it's the. And here we go to that iconic Sub-Zero versus Scorpion fight. Before I progressed any further, I thought I'll probably, or actually, I think I cut that out because I think it was a bit too graphic or repetitive. Now, this is what I like about this game. This has living towers. So living towers were basically like like a live version of the challenge towers from MK9, where first you had like an Ardley tower with a specific challenge. Then you had a premier tower which was every 6 days and focused on a particular character. And then you see here I had a global rank 200, but back in my prime when I was playing this game and on tech more suited to it, I used to get global rank 20 or top 10 quite often. And in this one, actually, it's given me quite a high rank, but these were the fun towers, daily towers. I may show a bit of it to you, but I had to cut out most of it because in this you had various challenges like infinite juggle combos or increasing health or ice cubes falling. They were much more fun, as much fun as MK9, and much more fun than the towers in MK11, where you had specific modifiers and you needed specific consumables to counter them. And instead of one tower, you had to finish sets of three or five. I didn't like that. But this was pretty interesting. Now, this tower is quite easy to get into the top global 100, but you'd need to repeat it a few times. In the sense, even if you win the match, unless you execute a brutality and meet the dragon challenges, you don't get your score. Now, here it's got the close combat modifier. Now, in this game, you can even do like, and okay, I switched over to Carl Weathers' skin, like the movie Predator. There's a guest character from the Predator in this game, and okay, this is Devora, one of the new characters. I'm not really going to cover this bug lady because I don't like her much, but I've shown this tower match because it has the infinite, a juggle combo modifier, or that's not exactly what it's called, but it's basically like one of those modifiers where people stay in the air for much juggle combos. They stay in the air for much longer. So yeah, and these are the kind of things you can even have fun in a two-player game, or like sometimes with friends or stuff. Like you can, in this game, unlike the others, you can create custom matches with a modifier of your choice. And unlike the original trilogy, you don't need to enter some combat code in a few seconds. As later I show you, there'll actually be a menu that you can access, and from that menu you can choose in a single player or two player custom match whatever, or any of the modifiers that you want, and that's pretty good fun. So this had that one. So in these towers, coming back to these, although they're easy to beat, you score based on how many challenges you meet, like meeting the couple of dragon challenges. Like there is one over here, survive 5 seconds without being hit. In this match I did. And the other thing to score, you need to do like those x-ray moves and the brutalities, which I can't show you. But why it takes multiple attempts even now to get into the top 50 or top 100 is some of the modifiers, like Cabal's ground axe will randomly appear, or ice cube will appear. They seem to always interfere with your input for a brutality, because in this the brutalities are different from Mortal Kombat 3. They are more like a special move you need. And see here, this is the final match of the tower where there's something drops that slows you down. And okay, good, he blocked my fatal move. So that was there. So then the brutalities are a bit different from the original trilogy, wherein when the opponent is almost out of health, you've got to do a special move with a directional input and some preset conditions at a certain time, and it converts that into a brutality. But sometimes, if you time it really right, you can do a combo to the point where the person just has a 1 bar of health left, and then initiate that special move brutality. So it's kind of like a extended combo brutality like the old days, but you've got to be very careful because without practice you can often end up killing them and needing to do a fatality. But none of that really matters from winning. But those brutalities and fatalities and all that jazz affect your rank in this tower. But to be fair, it's not really the online competitive play, or it doesn't scoring in these towers doesn't reflect on your skill to do well in a competitive match. But it was much more fun, like from a single player point of view, to get a variety of towers, which you did in MK11. But in MK11 they were way too grindy. And there we saw something called faction mode. This game had something called faction rewards and faction brutalities or fatalities or something. But I never, that's not really critical, so I didn't get much into that. They have a good store where stuff is still available, and you saw that you could choose the towers and the stores. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going to flick around, and yeah, so this is the test your luck mode, where you choose two players, and you'll have and there are various skins in this game. So you have some of the, I downloaded the original MK1 skin packs for Jax, Sonya, and Liu Kang, and I have the MK3 skins for Jax and Kung Lao as well. And Sub Zero has a lot of skins like the Kuai Liang from this game, the classic one, and whatnot. So yeah, let me see. I was just trying to activate the second play one to show you the test your luck challenges, because I haven't done that in a while. So here I chose around two modifiers, and now let's see. So this was the test your luck mode that I was showing you, and then Yep. So here you'll be able to basically choose from a range of modifiers. You can even match. No, in this case, okay, sorry, it's a test your luck. So it's randomly assigned modifiers. Sorry. So there's going to be another mode I'll show you, which is a custom combat where you can create modifiers for a single or a two-player fight. So which is more like having fun with friends and stuff. So here we got some electric fits, and we see Sonya Blade. She's got a better version of a beatdown from MK9, and she's got some of her moves as well. But this wasn't a character I used too much, but this is probably one that's been, and that was her arc kick, so not too bad. And this is probably one that's been demoed a lot, and that was another one of her grappling military kicks and stuff. So, oh yeah, flawless victory because I this time the other guy wasn't fighting, but sometimes I do get flawless victories in the towers as well. So that's pretty much there. Now let's see if I can show you that one that let's see, test your luck or two-player. Yeah, custom combat. That's the one that I wanted to show you. So this is where you can choose what modifiers you want, and it's good fun to play with friends, particularly if you've got the controllers. And that's Kenshi. He's pretty good in this game. Though honestly, he's one of the few characters I liked better in MK9 than MKX. Though all the others are. And here you see there's a big list of characters like modifiers: triple chip, turbo combat, super fast, and unlimited health, ray of super, rain of ice, and juggle combat, narcolepsy, and these are the kind of modifiers that also come in the tower. So it's like more like a fun mode, so you can choose what modifiers you want and continue the match. But that's okay, and it keeps on telling you about that faction thing, but that's no longer relevant. So that's all right. So these were the two main reasons why I liked this MKX. Was one, the nature of its living towers, and two, the general speed of the characters. And here I'm demoing the crypt. The crypt in this used to have jump scares, and I've anyway finished the full crypt. It wasn't as good as Mortal Kombat's 11 script, where they recreated Shang Tsung's iconic island, and you could see like a realistic portrayal of all the iconic locations from Mortal Kombat 1 in 1992, and there were even puzzles and whatnot. This script was pretty ordinary, and let me see if I can refresh how. Oh, yeah, there used to be like different locations in this one as well. But this script is the one aspect of this game which makes it clear that this game is from 2015. So and you go to like some kind of like Spider Verse or other thing, or area where there are a lot of cobwebs or there are different symmetries or something. So I'm not going to show much of that to you because that part of this game is pretty dated, and I've kind of completed it anyway. So it's like any kind of exploration game, and the crypt in MK11 is much better. So yeah, so there's the Deadwood Cemetery, there's the Shrine of the Dead, and the other things, and there's one where you can go and get rewards and stuff. So I'm not really going to go much into the script, so that's pretty all right. And yeah, and then here you can see the character model. So I'm just showing you some of the ones. So yeah, Jason Voorhees was a guest character, and this is the character model of Jax. So you can read his profile there, and I've got various skins for him, right from tournament to farmer or to Carl Weathers, the one from Predator, and then the Mortal Kombat 3 one, which is pretty nice. So yeah, that's pretty good. And then yep, and then who else have we got? Yeah, that's Johnny Cage, the classic one, and that's his profile. That's kind of funny. He's got some ninja mime or commandos again from Predator, and soccer one I didn't really do much with. And then yeah, that tournament is MK9 skins re-rendition. And then yeah, you've got concept art and other stuff, and then you even have the alien in this as a guest character, but didn't really care much about that. And then oh yes, Predator. That's one of my favorite guest characters in the series, and he's a ferocious fighter. I don't think I've shown his full fights here. I might have a tower fight, or I may have cut that out actually, because he's pretty ferocious, but nothing too graphic. So, and I think I have a separate video of a demo fight with the Predator on my channel. So now let's get into the training mode where I can, display some of the characters and their variations a bit more. I'm not going to do all, I'll just run through my favorites or the most common ones and provide comments on the others because there is more to explore. And so here's Liu Kang. So he's got the Dragonfire Flame Fist. Duelist is the one where he can switch between light and dark to enhance his powers. And I chose the standard Dragonfire one. And we are going to practice against the classic Sub-Zero. So we've kind of got like their MK1 skins. And let's see what location we choose. So, okay, I've chosen, no, I'm not yet choosing the training ground. Let's see. Yeah, the jungle, Kuatan Jungle. That's not bad. That's one of the few realistically rendered maps in this one. So this is the highest possible graphic settings on my gaming laptop. But yeah, so that's Liu Kang for you. So here's the his juggle combo from MK9 has been toned down, but on the whole, his combos and specials move faster and are more extended. So I just displayed the one, two, three, four. Like instead of high punch, low kick, back kick, like the original trilogy, you have front punch, back punch, front kick, low kick, which I just demoed. And now I'll just get into some of his combos. And this guy has a lot of moves and special moves that can be really double enhanced. Like his bicycle kick can be enhanced twice. I'm not sure if I can still do that. His flying kick can be enhanced into some sort of a bicycle kick, and the lots more. And then he's got, yeah, these are the routine back 3 4 or back 1 2 3 combos, which are good for extending longer strings and countering with space. And here, compared to MK9, we saw he had a longer string. Like that's another thing here, that the throw animations are much faster, and he has like a longer kick string, and that's his flying kick. So that's pretty good, and that's an extended flying kick, which you can do into combo. And yeah, when I used to play this game proper, there are many bigger combos you can do. And here I'm just doing an exercise where I'm, remastering the input of the bicycle kick, and look at the speed with which I can repeat it and extend it, which is not bad. And you can even jump off surfaces that were highlighted there or use interactable. So it's pretty good. Now let's see if I try another variation. And in that other variation, what I'm going to it replaces his bicycle kick with a flame fist. So that's not quite extendable the same way, but it's pretty interesting. So here we are in the jungle, and yeah, that's the flame fists, and that's his low and high fireballs, and his flying kick, the standard stuff. And then yeah, so let me see if I work it into a combo. Yep, so that's flame fist, and yeah, so just showing you the basics, because he's moving much faster than MK9. And yeah, that's the extended flame fist. And yep, that's actually my routine combo. You saw that utilizing that UTG converted to JJK from MK9, extending it with the kicks and into the flame fist. So that's one I did. And the one which I can't show you here is that with the kicks, instead of extending it into the flame fist, I normally extend it into his X-ray. The X-ray move much faster than MK9, and they are partly blacked out, but partly like a live animation visual, so they kind of fit in. And now let's go to another one of my favorite characters, Kung Lao, and we'll choose the Buzzsaw variation. So, and who are we fighting here? Let's see. Yeah, we'll fight this guy whom I'll demo a bit later. So that should be pretty interesting. And let's choose the Outworld Marketplace. Now, Kung Lao is one of my favorites. In MK9, he had some great combos and was pretty good at dealing with bosses. And in MKX, he's got some really fast kicks, and his throw animation, and yeah, this throw, this is his throw animation. It's much faster than anything in MK9, and I guess it's almost like MK11 is almost the same, though some say this is faster. And he's got like a number of cycle kicks, and his extended kicks also have like a much faster animation. I'll just show you that. Yeah, that's his enhanced special, and that he does that enhanced jump that also has like a bit of a special, I guess, faster move set here. But what I don't like about Kung Lao on the PC, with using a gaming keyboard that I'm used to, in Mortal Kombat X, his primary punch combo, the 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, that can occasionally go into a three kick, which is used for controlling space in both MK9 and in particular in MK11. It's very useful in the wait, that was a forward thrust, which you can use to push people forward and build space. It's useful in hard mode matches, so that's okay. That's his throw again. And yep, and that's fine. And but yeah, coming back to that central combo, that 1 2 1 2 1 in Mortal Kombat 11, it's and that's his teleport and punch and throw, and you can even do a teleport kick. And yeah, he can't spam this as fast as MK3, but it's not bad. And then the other thing, about that punch combo is that in MK, this is the one. In MK11, it works much faster and it's easier to control space in it in a competitive or high difficulty match. But in MKX, its input was a bit inconsistent on the PC and much harder. I'm finally doing it on a repetitive basis now, but in a competitive match in MKX, it's much harder to do this compared to MK11 or MK9. And that, at least as per my style, is his main combo for controlling space. So that, in my view, made this, oh wow, he's got some great deadly Shaolin kicks here. But in my view, this guy feels a bit weaker because of that lack of consistency in that combo. And even when I went to friends' place in the mid 2010s and played it on the consoles with both gamers and non-gamers, I used to beat all the non-gamers and occasionally I'd almost beat the professional gamers. I just lost two or three. But Kung Lao was the one character with whom I, in MKX, with whom I pretty much would lose to anybody, because in the actual match, his move set, at least even on, for me in the console or keyboard, wasn't that great because his main space controlling combo, at least on the devices I use, I don't know if it's universal, it was much harder to execute under pressure. But in MK11, I feel that although some people say it's slower, the variety and of the variations and that particular move and his extended kicks are much faster and easier for me to use in a competitive setting. So that's there. And let's see who else do we want to demo here. So, oh yeah, here's the Triborg, and this was, I think, a DLC character or something. So these were the cyborgs iconic in the original trilogy and also from MK9. Here, here they're guest characters, so you can choose Cyrax, Sector, or Smoke, but there is a secret way to choose Cyber Sub-Zero. So apparently in the story of MK9, instead of the original trilogy like Smoke, Sub-Zero gets converted into Cyber Sub-Zero. But there are some events, I'm probably not going to spoil them for you if you're interested in the story between that game and this, which lead to Sub-Zero's kind of resurrection in his human form. But you can still, like, this is Sector, that iconic villain. So I'm just trying to demo some of his moves and kicks. But there is a way to select Cyber Sub-Zero. I'll show you here. And he had some amazing kicks and moves. Like Cyber Sub-Zero was a character in MK9, but I thought they did him much better in Mortal Kombat X here. But some of these ninjas have generic combos. Let me just try and see if I can, get a hang of them again. And that's his teleport punch, the one which many people have spammed much to the chagrin of their opponents over the years. And that's the one he uses to control space. And yeah, that's a combo that I like, that all the ninjas in this game can do it. It's pretty useful. And it's like back to down three and up two or something like that. Yeah, it's easier to execute than it's much easier to execute than it looks. But yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so that's pretty handy in an actual match. And yep, and that's the standard 1, 2, 3 combo that all of these ninjas have. Let me just test this out. And this is a nice locale, by the way. This is a Lin Kuei temple. I don't know how it'll look on your screen, but in person, these graphics still look pretty good. Though I'm playing on the highest possible setting because obviously I'm playing this 9 years after its release. So, but yeah, and at its time it was pretty good. But even in this game, the input recognition and speed has aged much better than 9. That on my Acer Predator MK9, I played it well for 4 or 5 days. And oh yeah, there's Cyber Sub-Zero. Even at the harder mode, shot some videos. But after 5 days, that MK9, the input just stopped working properly. So I don't know, maybe it was linked to my device or something. But I'd always had an issue with the quality of MK9 on the PC. I always thought MK9 was better on the console. But this Mortal Kombat X, and it's actually XL because I got the updated characters and packs and patches and whatnot. And here we see Cyber Sub-Zero. He had quite a nice move set, and that was just back one. The one where, yeah, see, this is just back one, which bounces it up, and then he's got the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, which kind of ends in a mini freeze kind of a thing. And he's got some other great moves. That's the same kick that that red guy's Cyrax was, no, Sector was also doing. And now he's got a couple of other basics, like one that kick was one that Sector didn't have. He's got that with him, and then of course he's got his basic freeze, which is a bit different, and he's got freeze bombs as well. So this guy is pretty fast in his fight, and he also has like a slide, which I may demonstrate, and an aerial kick that I haven't shown in here. So this guy is still pretty good, and I love this arena. Now this game gave us this training arena wherein you can actually measure the distance, match it to the frame rates and the steps given in the menu, and you even see there is a video on the screen there of your movements. Not that you'd be looking at that video. So this was a nice training area that MK11 didn't have. MK9 had like some sort of a picturesque training area, but it wasn't structured this way. It was more like some kind of like a lounge or something. But I really like this training map, and sometimes there are fights on it or challenges on it as well. So here we're seeing Cyber Sub-Zero's moves, and he's got a number of great launchers and stuff, and he moves pretty fast. And bear in mind, he isn't my main character, and I'm playing it after a few years. But in an actual match, I'll probably use Jax or Liu Kang and do much better combos in this one. And yeah, he's got that air dive kick. I didn't really demo that, and I was just trying to check whether he has any teleport as well. He doesn't have a teleport here in MKX, but in MK9 he shares a teleport with the Cyber Ninjas. Now let's see what other characters I want to demo to you in Mortal Kombat X. Don't really care much about Kitana, and yeah, Raiden is pretty much routine, and yeah, this was one of the new guys. He's not that Gunjin. He's that Takeda, right? So he's who's also trained by Shirai Ryu in the story. I think he's Kenshi's son, and he's going to be shortly released as an extra character, as a DLC character in 20 in the currently live Mortal Kombat 12/1. So here you also got Goro as an additional purchase when you bought MKX, which is now XL. So this guy had some interesting moves. His main variation is with the whip, but I like this one where he has pulse blades instead of his whip, and he has this forward projectile which he can extend for zoning, and he has this rapid this rapid punch. When he has whips, it's kind of like a pretty interesting one where he's using the whips and all that. But I like this extended punch version, and he's got a reflect. And what else has he got? He's got something with which he can launch people up as well. So yeah, let's shortly see how he goes in an actual fight. Let me switch on the AI to show you how this guy goes. Like, I didn't finish most of the towers in front of you, because if there's any brutalities or X-ray move I need to do to win, or brutality to score, I did initially complete a full tower, but then I had to spend so much time editing it. I said, you know what, let me just show you the key clips, and I can later do proper playthrough and stuff. But because there was a lot of it to edit out anyway, though I don't think it is contentious as per the community guidelines. But yeah, just in general, in keeping with the spirit of the video and stuff. So that's pretty much there. And one of the reasons I really like this game, besides its speed and graphics and the way it moves, is that it also has a run feature, which was last there in Mortal Kombat 4 and introduced in Mortal Kombat 3. So using forward block, when the meter is available, you can run up and build pressure, and that suits my style, because that's more of like an MK4 kind of a style. It was there in Mortal Kombat. Oh, there I just kind of cut out his X-ray move. That was pretty close, and then that's his jump. Right there, which he's famous for. And let me shortly get this guy. So this is practice mode. In an actual match, I'd pretty easily beat him, but in a practice mode where we have an infinite run, I'm just trying to show you all the moves and stuff. So let's see how we go here. Yeah, that's pretty much all right. And oh hell, they've got a lot of blockers. So what I really liked about this game, besides the graphics, the speed, and the simplicity, despite the fact that it had so much depth in terms of the variations and others, and you can even use like objects in the arena, though not quite like MK4. But towards the end, there was an interactable where you could slam Goro into it, but I haven't yet done that. And yep. Let's see. And now Cassie Cage. Now this is one of the characters who was introduced in this game. I think she's one of the main heroines and the leader of of the team of the next generation kids that saves the day in this game. And here is Aaron Black, another human origin character shown to be working with Outworld in this game. He's a new gunslinger character. He has some great moves, but instead of playing as both, I'm going to play as Cassie and demonstrate both Cassie and Aaron Black's moves. And Cassie has this great launchers up front, so it's like a forward 2-4 pushes them forward, and then just 2-4-2 is the launcher, and then back 4-4 is that upward launching kick. So you answer that was the forward one that helps build pressure, and that is the launcher, and then that's the stationary one. So she's pretty good at keeping people with corner that way, but that is not the only way to play her. This is one of her three variations, and these are just the basics in that, and she has tons of special moves and stuff as well. So I found her moveset here a bit better than in MK11, although as a character in terms of the storyline and otherwise, she feels a bit more mature and presented in MK11, and in MK9, in MKX here, she's just a bit like a kind of like a teen titan, just discovering her powers or something like that. So, and she doesn't have very great dialogue in this game, and that's her gunshot. And then she has an aerial gunshot in this variation, and then she has her dad's nutbreaker as well. And there it is. She says ding dong. But yeah, so that's her dad's nutbreaker, and she has some glow kick which I don't use, and she has one more kick as well, which is good. That one, that flip kick is good for zoning out distance and stuff. So this game, it moves even a bit faster than it does on this video, and which is one of the few MKs with the pace. Like Mortal Kombat 11 onwards were more about like they were more although they were easily accessible to all players and had a best in class training mode compared to any game including this one, the specializing in them was more biased towards the pro players, and they were designed in such a way that unless you were really good, and you couldn't really generate the speed and the kind of combos you have in this one. But Mortal Kombat X, like 4, I felt leveled the playing field for all players. And yeah, I had when it first came out, I had just gotten into MK9, and it was a big deal when Mortal Kombat X released. Everyone was playing it, and some of my friends set up consoles where both gamers and non-gamers would come and play over drinks. And you'd be surprised as to how many non-gamers also enjoyed this and had a good time, even if they didn't know about the series. And I was surprised to see the profile of, who all were gamers too. It was quite an interesting experience, and I would practice it at home, though I'm used to the PC, and then on the console, I pretty much beat everyone having a good time. There was once some Steven Seagal remake, and his girlfriend who was playing the game or whatnot, and it was a pretty interesting culture. And until one day, a professional gamer came, and I lost 2-3, but I nearly beat him. But everyone found it funny. Like I was using Jax, and he was using Aaron Black, and then a group of drunk friends look at each other and said, "Now one man is going to stand at a corner and fire a rocket launcher, while another man is going to stand at a corner and fire a gun. What kind of fighting is that?" I'm like, but yeah, it was a good community experience, kind of like the original trilogy in the arcade. But more than that, this game is just fun. And here I've not shown you the full move. I've just shown the part of Aaron Back's X-ray where he launches a bullet that has the opponent's name, but then I cut out the graphic part. And he's got some great moves. He's got a slide, as you've been seeing, the Caltrops throw, and the gun and whatnot. And as you saw, I used some of Cassie's moves to launch and distance as well. That's that forward pushing combo I was talking about. That's the static launch, and that's that launcher again. And then yep, and this isn't the only way to play Cassie. I'm sure there are pro players who've got many more moves and variations, but yeah, I'm coming back to this game after a few years and playing for fun. And when I did, I played it pretty well. But yeah, but so on the whole, that was Mortal Kombat X for me. It was like a refreshing entry in the franchise with a great graphics, great speed. It kind of was like what Mortal Kombat 4 was meant to be. It even had the same villain. Ironically, I didn't showcase Shinnok, and I also didn't show one of the new characters, Kotal Khan, the Aztec-based warrior, because I thought some of their moves were a bit too strong. But I guess a lot of people have covered their moves and stuff, so it's good fun on the whole. So this was a pretty good game. Still, it still looks pretty good. Though honestly, its netcode was didn't impress me as much as the netcode in Mortal Kombat 11, which was the best. But Mortal Kombat X, as long as you're okay with, like I guess some of the its content isn't that much bolder, like the outfits and the blood and all are all toned down from Mortal Kombat 9, which was a bit bolder than most series, though nothing controversial in my view. But Mortal Kombat X is like, for me, the pure fun entry in the franchise. That as a purist, I've now, as in, started appreciating how people who grew up with the original Mortal Kombat trilogy and its gaming cultural impact and playing it in the arcades. And I had that arcade experience much later. As you see, recently I've been going to retro arcades and playing Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, as I've documented on my channel, and I gradually got an appreciation of the classic games. But I'm primarily like an I got into the series in MK4, and of late I've been playing a bit of the 3D era and Mortal Kombat 1 as well. But Mortal Kombat X, like 4, was one of the other games I'd gotten into the time. And this to me is like, I guess all the other games in the series are something that fans really adore. And even Mortal Kombat 1, despite its criticism, has unparalleled technical excellence and netcode. You can give them that. And Mortal Kombat 9 was good for reestablishing the franchise, although it's a bit culturally dated, a bit feels a bit dated now, and its input, at least on the PC, doesn't feel that good. Though they say on the console, 2011's MK9 is still good. And then the 3D era was a bit different. When they were trying to branch out, I have mixed views on that. Though I enjoyed it from the depth of single player content point of view, but Mortal Kombat X is the one MK that I thought was really fun, and everybody was like super amped versions of each other, and you had like much lesser grindy challenge towers than MK11, and it was even fun to play once in a while. So I think this is a good addition to the franchise, and I guess now it's been a bit taken over by MK11, but it's a good fun addition to have. And do try out the various variations of Jax and other characters in this one, because to me, Jax is really pumped up in this one, and I really like that because he was my main, and I didn't like his move set in MK9, so I used the heavy weapons variation of his that I just showed you, and that's pretty good fun. And then other than that, he's got a couple of other variations where his that that grab that he does and his subsequent punches are really apt up, and he's got something called pumped up as well. So I'm like, yeah, and that's pretty interesting. So but yeah, and on the whole, it's a great experience still, and it's nearly 10 years since this came out, and I really enjoyed it. So if you haven't played this one, barring the ordinary story, I would recommend you get a copy to play this through. And yep, it's a good time. So that's it from my side. Thanks so much for your time today, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and see you in the next video.